We are in a farmlet paddock here. The farmlet trial has the aim to test if we can produce the same amount of pasture and the same amount of milk per hectare when you reduce nitrogen, and we then replace nitrogen partly by bringing in legumes so that we have a natural source of the nitrogen. The treatments that we have is a varying rates of nitrogen from the industry standard 300 kilos per hectare a year to 150 kilos for 2 treatments, and then we have 1 treatment where we have 0 nitrogen fertilizer going in. Farmlet 4 is the farmlet with 0 nitrogen fertilizer being applied. It is a multi-species mix, so there are several types of clover in here, there are some plantain in here, and we have several grass species in here. Some of these grass species, such as cocksfoot and tall fescue and broom, have a slightly earlier flowering date compared to ryegrass, and that's why at this time of the year you see very well all these different pasture species sticking out, because their seed heads are already showing a little bit. So it's very obvious that it is a multi-species mix. We started off the season under very wet conditions with a lot of surplus rainfall. Last time we mentioned that irrigation wasn't far off, and we were preparing for that. We have started irrigating our farmlet paddocks now about 2 weeks ago. So we monitor our soil moisture, the weather conditions and the evapotranspiration, and that will help us determine our irrigation. 3 of our farmlets have a very high stocking rate of around 3.9 cows per hectare. Which also means that our break-even point, the amount of grass growth every day we need to be able to feed our cows with grass, is at a high level. Over the last month we have been starting to reach that point of break-even several times, but the conditions are still so that we have the odd cold snap that drops our growth rate a little bit below our break-even point. We are expecting now, with the weather finally warming up, that we will be reaching our break-even point most of the time, and even above that. We have started mating. For our farm, start of mating is at the end of October every year for our spring calving herd. Mating start date this year was the 25th of October. We do 2 rounds of timed AI, and in between and after we have a bull running with the herd, which is happening at the moment. What we are starting to see in our paddocks is a little bit of Lucerne flea damage to our clover. It is fairly common to see that a little bit. Last year we also had a little bit of this Lucerne flea damage. We are just monitoring it. We have experienced so far that there will be a little bit of damage, but the clover grows through it and is not too much impacted by it. So we let just nature go its way, and you can recognize the cause of it by seeing very tiny green insects that, like fleas, when you touch them, jump away. So that's a good indication that it will be Lucerne flea that is nibbling on the leaves of the clover.